Hello and welcome to our season finale of CancerFace. This is the 8th episode and the final one before our break for at least probably until October. I was going to start off today actually by talking again about the positives of having cancer. And one of the great positives to Nubbsy and I has been the amount of posts that you get. I don't know about you, but I find that emails and texts not quite the same, are they, as having something delivered through your door, having the thud as Posty puts the letters through the letterbox and they land in the hallway. And you do get a lot more posts with, not just of course correspondence from the vlogcast, but lots of letters. I am now getting copies of letters from the doctors. Lots of letters about appointments, all sorts of things. It can really make you feel quite important. Having said that, this last week the post and correspondence seems to have dried up, doesn't it, Nubbsy? I don't think we've had anything. We only had one email from another one from Betty Johnson again, who was declaring that she was quite convinced that again that Nubbsy can't communicate to me. That's Mrs. Johnson from Trowbridge. But what's that one? What's that? Oh, it's Trowbridge, is it? Oh, it's Trowbridge. Apparently it is Trowbridge, Nubbsy tells me. Yeah, she reckons Nubbsy can't understand a word. And that's been about it. Although I'm not sure if Posty's been this morning. Right? Has he been? Nubbsy? Has he been? Good check, has he been? I'm just going to check, see if there is any post that might have arrived this morning. But yes, in general, you do get a lot of posts, but sometimes I suppose it can just try it. Oh, he has got. Come up, we have got a letter today. That's very fortunate. Thank you very much, Nubbsy. I think that deserves a biscuit, don't you? Do you think it deserves a biscuit? Let's see, have we got one here? Yes. That deserves a biscuit. Anybody's money, doesn't it? So, who is this one from? Well, this is... it's from the BBC. It's from the BBC. Marvellous. Dear Mr. Morton. It's actually from Strictly Come Dancing. It says, Dear Mr. Morton, are in your application to become this year's internet sensation contestant on Strictly Come Dancing? Yeah. I'm afraid to say that this position has already been taken by someone called Saffron Barker. Who's Saffron Barker, do you know? She has something quite trivial, does she? Oh, right, okay. But please feel free to apply again next year. Okay, well, perhaps we'll have another go then, lad. We've just been beaten to it by Saffron, but we'll be cheering on Saffron as a fellow internet sensation, even if your show is perhaps a little bit shallow compared to this one. Right, in terms of what's happened over the last week, I went to see the peg nurse, who told me all about my peg fitting, which is happening this next Tuesday, which cuts out the need for eating and all that kind of boring stuff. It means I can just squirt things straight into my stomach. And also I went for the swallowing class. Because apparently, although you can use the peg, they do like you to keep on swallowing. So I went and met the SALT, the speech and language therapist, SALTs as we call them. And that was last week. And then this coming week, we've got the peg being fitted on Tuesday, and then I'm starting radiotherapy Thursday, chemotherapy Friday, and they're going to be daily for 6 weeks. Hence the pause. So it's that last episode. I thought, if you'll indulge me, this last episode, I get a little bit philosophical, as it were, about the way our culture approaches cancer, and particularly about this notion of battling cancer, which I mentioned a little bit last week. And the more I think about it, the more I think it is something that's really quite unhelpful and quite inappropriate, really. Inappropriate because if you think about it, if you're battling something, that's something that you're battling must obviously battle you back. It must be something with a kind of sense of agency, a sense of intent, and that seems to me to be just totally inappropriate, because of course cancer has no intent, it has no sense of agency, and therefore I can't see quite how it's something that you can battle. It's obviously it's a very small thing. It's kind of organic. It's perhaps a bit. Do you think so? Really? Oh, okay. It's organic. It's a bit like rice, I always think, actually. Now, you wouldn't talk about battling rice, would you? It would be foolish to think about battling rice. Or you wouldn't have a campaign. If you had a fundraising campaign, you wouldn't have one called Stand Up to Rice. It just doesn't make sense. So it's a bit inappropriate. Now, you might think, oh, come on, Morton, get over yourself. It's just a euphemism, just a metaphor. But I don't think it's a really helpful metaphor, because I think if you're receiving treatment for cancer, then probably battling cancer is the last thing that's on your mind. Colm Tóibín, who's a wonderful Irish writer, Colm Tóibín, wrote about this recently because he had cancer last year. I'm just going to read you a little bit of what he said. He says, talking about the side effects, he says, "It was not merely that the chemo left me fully thoughtless, so that as time went on I could not even read. The effect of the drug darkened the mind, or filled it with something hard and severe and relentless. It was like a pain or a sort of anguish, but those words don't really cover it. Everything that normally kept the day going and the mind was reduced to almost zero. I couldn't think. All I could do sometimes was concentrate on getting through the next 5 minutes, because contemplating any longer stretch of time under the pressure of the chemo and the steroids, and perhaps some other drug, was too hard. At about 6 o'clock in the evening, I'd start to feel okay for a while, but by 9 or so, a real lassitude had set in again. When I decided to go to bed, I found that decision made no difference. 2 hours later, I would still be lying on the sofa. I spent the time staring straight ahead, not watching films, no TV, no radio, no books, no magazines or journals, no memories, no thoughts, no plans for the future, nothing." And later he comments that, "I made my way to the sofa, where I battled against cancer once more by lying there staring straight ahead. I had such great resistance to thought that I didn't even worry." So if you imagine feeling like that, and then being told that you're about to be dropped into a kind of boxing ring and expected to do battle as you take part in tonight's live bout, and you can see, I think, what I'm meaning. I think the notion of battling cancer is a kind of manic response, really, a kind of manic defence. And it might be that for some people that is their preferred response or the preferred defence, but I don't think we should assume that it's everybody's. Now, that's not to say, of course, that courage isn't required. Some of us prefer to confront the horror of the situation that we're facing and to see it as the worst of existential nightmares that have actually started to come true. And that's how I'm trying to approach it, reminding myself each and every day that by the time this chemoradiation treatment may have finished, I could have lost all my hair and be completely bald. So, we're going to take a break now, and we'll hopefully see you at some time in October. I think if you subscribe, if you press that red subscribe button down below the little screen on YouTube, I think it will notify when we next put one up. But in the meantime, I hope that you enjoy the rest of the summer. I know that I will. What's that, Nubsy? Oh yeah, of course.